Hello, this is Spartan Commander, and this is a 969th Rome Total War Brotherhood game that I put onto YouTube. You'll see straight away that this battle was fought on the same map as the last battle I put on to this YouTube channel, so we don't need to have a look at the map as we covered that in the last battle. As we know, this map's got a lot of undulating ground in it, and so tactical ground movement is very important. Okay. Our first teammate is Brotherhood member Sultan. Now Sultan's got the bog standard 31k Roman army, 14 infantry and 6 cavalry. This is a no archer and no slinger battle, so that's why you know he's got any archers or slingers. So as I say, he's got the bog standard old school 31k Roman army, 14 infantry, 6 cavalry. Our next teammate is Brotherhood member Vicox. Now Vicox got 14 pikes and 6 chariots. 14 pikes, 6 chariots. Look at the upgrades on his Pontus pikes, and you see he's got 8 upgrades, 2 experience stripes, gold shield, gold attack. Just check further on down his battle line there just to see if they've all got the same. Yep, they are. All his pikes have got 8 upgrades on, 2 experience stripes, gold shield, gold attack. And then we move to the infamous chariots there. As we've talked about before, these guys got good hit points, they got big attacking specifications and a massive fear factor. But like we said before, if they run amok, they kill both friend and foe alike. So you really have to be confident and competent to bring chariots, because they really are a double-edged sword. And if your chariots run amok and start killing your allies' troops, you can become unpopular very quickly. So there you are, that's Vicox's Pontus army there. Our next teammate is Brotherhood member Fesen, who has got his faction of choice, Carthage. Now he's got 16 Sacred Band spearmen and 2 skirmishers, and that is his standard army, no cavalry. Okay, and our last teammate is myself, Spartan Commander, has bought a very old Roman army of 15 infantry and 5 cavalry. Yes, 15 infantry and 5 cavalry. So I suppose reasonably diverse team there, with Rome there, Pontus, Carthage and Rome. It's got the potential to be an absolutely cracking, really close battle. And here is the other team. We have RTW player Barclayman, who has got 17 infantry and 3 cavalry. Okay, 17 infantry, 3 cavalry. And just like to draw your attention here, can you see that he has bought a morale boosting eagle unit there? Always good. You know, I've been banging on about that for years. More morale, the better. And he's got his infantry general as well. So he's got 2 morale boosting units there. Notice you can't see his cavalry because his cavalry are hiding. And we'll have a look at them a little bit later on. Okay, their next teammate is Brotherhood member Mantu. Now Mantu's got the bog standard old school 31k Roman army, 14 infantry, 6 cavalry. Okay, remember once again, no archers or slingers allowed in this battle. So that is the bog standard 31k Roman army, 14 infantry, 6 cavalry, and it's been like that for many, many years. Their next teammate is Brotherhood member Spitfyr. Now Spitfyr's got 14 infantry, 4 cavalry and 2 chariots. Okay, he's got an interesting army build here, and army battle formation as well, because you'll see that he's got silver shield legionnaires. Now remember, these guys can throw pilas. They're pretty tough infantry. They look a little bit like urban cohorts. They haven't got the same specification as urban cohorts, but they are still pretty good infantry there. And so he's got a mixture of those and the pikes. If you have a look at his battle formation there, you'll see his forward unit there is a silver shield legionnaire, and then the middle unit and the rear units are silver shield legionnaires as well, and he's got his pikes in between them there. Quick look at the upgrades on his cataphracts, and he's got 7 upgrades, an experience stripe, gold shield, gold attack on his cataphracts, and of course he's got 2 chariots as well. So that'll be a tried and tested Spitfyr Seleucid army. Be interested to see how well he uses that. And their last teammate is Brotherhood member Royer. Now Royer has got 14 pikes and 6 cavalry. And if you have a look at the upgrades, you'll see he's just got 7 upgrades on his pikes there. Okay, an experience stripe, gold shield, gold attack on his Macedonian royal pikeman. And I'm thinking his cavalry possibly just gold shield, gold attack. Yep, there you are. His companion cavalry are gold shield, gold attack. Remember, we call these guys the winged horsemen because of those wing things kind of on their helmets. And don't forget, they got a massive 9 charge bonus. There's the enemy team. Got potential to be a cracking battle. Okay, so just to give you a heads up on this, we've decided we're all going over to Sultan on the right flank. That's where we're all moving to. And of course, as usual, I'm all the way over on the left flank, and I've got to run all the way over to that right flank there. And the reason we run over there, and hopefully I won't get intercepted by enemy troops, but the reason we go over there is because it's more even balanced ground we find over on that right flank. So that's why we tend to move over there. So as you can see there, I'm moving as fast as I can over to that right flank. And you can see, I think the Pontus general's moving as well. And of course, Carthage there, he may well be staying there to cover my infantry as I'm moving over there. So there you are, you can see that Sultan is set up there. And you can see, as I say, Vicox moving his Pontus troops over. And as I say, I think our Carthage ally there is just waiting for me to pass him so he can cover me to stop any interception by enemy troops. And here you can see Sultan moving forward towards the Macedonian troops there, because of course he'd like to get close to them so he can throw loads of pilers in to weaken those units before we actually get into hand-to-hand fighting. You'll see that the Seleucids and the Macedonian enemy armies there are starting to meet up. And you can see here that Mantu is bringing his SBQR army forward, and you'll see that the enemy Brutii infantry is being brought over to this flank as well. So this looks to me like they're abandoning the higher ground, and they're going to fight down here on the undulating ground. So it should be a great one for you to watch. And as I say, a very close battle and a very rare battle in that case. Should be a really good, cracking battle for you to watch. Okay, at this stage of the battle, something interesting is going to happen here, and unusual, I would suggest. Can you see that Vicox is deciding to move 3 of his chariots over to the left flank there? Now, what I think is happening here is he just wants to position those chariots on the left flank for, you know, kind of strategic reasons there. And maybe if the enemy all move down off that high ground, he could get his chariots up onto the high ground, and he would then have a downhill charge bonus. So that's why I think he's moving his chariots over there. But what I'd like you to do, we're just going to pause the game for a second here. Okay, what I'd like you to do here, you can see those chariots approaching. Just watch this area here in these 3 trees there. Okay, as the chariots get close, just watch that area there. Okay. And there you can see the chariots coming over. As I say, I think Vicox there was just going to kind of tactically move his chariots over to that left flank and try and maybe get up onto the higher ground. I don't think he suspects anything's going to happen here, but just watch that group of trees there that we were just looking at. Get ready. Keep watching. Keep watching. And there you go. Remember, Barclayman had 3 hidden cavalry units. We looked at them, we looked at his army earlier, and I said his cavalry were hidden, and there they are hiding in the trees. Now you can see Vicox there didn't mean to bump into that cavalry. He wants to take his chariots over there for a tactical move, but he sees that cavalry, and it wouldn't surprise me if he decided to attack them there. Just watch the chariots crash in there. There you go. You can see the chariots now. Vicox attacking that cavalry, and bang! As he smashes in there with those chariots there. He's hoping to chop up those Brutii cavalry with those 3 chariots, but because those cavalry were in a tight, close clump formation like that, I think they'll fight those chariots off myself. Did you see how tight and close that cavalry formation was? And I think there you are. You can see that they've routed those chariot units there because they were in such a close, tight formation. The chariots couldn't really get in between them. That's where they do the damage, is when they get in between units. And they couldn't do that there. So those 3 chariots of Vicox's there have just been routed, and my guess is they probably won't return to the battle. I just thought you might find that interesting there, how you can ambush people when you hide in the woods there. Okay, meanwhile, over on our right flank, you'll see that I've just arrived. Winded, of course, because I've just run basically all the way over from that left flank. So before we get into combat, I hope the team will allow me to rest to get some freshness back in my troops, because I don't want to fight them when they're winded. Okay, as I say, it's got the potential to be an absolute classic, and I really hope you enjoy it. Okay, at this still very early stage of the battle here, you'll see that Mantu and Sultan are kind of facing up to each other there. And over here you'll see that Fesen there is taking his Carthage army forward towards the Seleucids, and I think Spitfyr has done the right thing there in backing his Seleucid pikes off there, because he knows that Carthage punches above his weight against the big 121 man units there, and I think that was a good tactical withdrawal there by Spitfyr. Okay, as you can see, we're kind of just forming up together now, seeing who we're going to face here. What I think ideally here would be if Fesen with his Carthaginians face the Macedonians. Maybe Pontus could face the Seleucids here, and I could face the green Brutia army. That might be kind of, you know, the way we're looking at things at the moment. And as I say, Mantu and Sultan there facing up to each other. There, Mantu being the SPQR. Sorry, Sultan being the SPQR army there. You see a few pikes going in. Oh, sorry, Mantu is of course the SPQR army, and Sultan of course is the blue Scipio army. You can see that line, that wall of Macedonian pikes moving forward there. Okay, and my guess is here that Sultan would love to throw some pilers into those Macedonians. But over here, can you see that Fesen now is moving his Carthaginians over to maybe engage the Macedonians there? Okay. So, as I say, that would be a good move. And you can see here that Vicox is moving some of his Pontus pikes over to the left flank to maybe counter the Seleucids. And, of course, my Red July army, I'll be facing the 17 infantry units of Barclayman there. Okay, so we're gradually getting settled into who's going to fight who, if you like. But, as I say, the Seleucids there, don't forget they got those Silver Shield Legionnaires as well there that can throw pilers. And as I say, you can see Vicox moving his army back. Now, because there's so many 121-man pike units in this battle, to start off with, there's a little bit of lag, because some people's computers find it difficult to run with these big 121-man units if there's a lot of them in the battle. So to start off with, you'll notice a little bit of lag, but as the battle goes on, you'll see that the battle speeds up a bit there. Okay, so as I say, you can see the green Brutii army of Barclayman moving forward there. I think he wanted to throw some pilers into our Carthage allies' units there. And as I say, you can see Vicox here has brought his Pontus pikes over. Now, if I remember correctly, I think the Pontus pikes are better upgraded than the Seleucid pikes. Okay, so that should give the Pontus pikemen a bit of an advantage there against the Seleucid pikes. Okay, because if I remember correctly, Seleucid pikes and Pontus pikes are the same before you put any upgrades on. Their specifications are the same. So as the Pontus pikes are better upgraded, they should have an advantage over the Seleucid pikes there. Okay, Vicox here has bought a couple of his pike units here, look, to support his Scipio ally there against all that cavalry. See all that enemy cavalry there? So that's why he's bought those anti-cavalry pike units over there to help Sultan. Plus you've got Sultan's cavalry locked and loaded there as well. So our right flank looks quite secure there. Okay, but it looks to me like the battle's going to kick off here on the left flank, with Vicox being very, very aggressive with his better upgraded Pontus pikes. But can you see here a good move there by Barclayman? He's bought some of his Brutii Roman infantry over to help his Seleucid ally. That's a nice bit of teamwork there by Barclayman, so well done to him, bringing those units over there to help his Seleucid ally there. And you can see here that Vicox is now pulling those pike units back that he'd taken around the flank of the Seleucid battle formation there. If you notice here, I'm moving my Red July army forward towards those Brutii infantry units there, with a view to throw some pilers into them. What I'd like to do is to throw pilers into those units that are not in open order, so I can cause more casualties to them. Remember, we put units in open order because they suffer less casualties from missiles, and I see a lot of the Brutii infantry are not in open order, so I feel I could do a lot of damage if I can get close to them with my pilers before we even get into hand-to-hand fighting. See how aggressive I'm moving forward there with my Julia army to try and get in range of that line of green Brutii infantry that I can throw pillars into. Here you can see Fesen moving his Carthaginians forward towards the Macedonians there. Nice aggressive move, but he needs to watch his right flank there, because I can see the enemy SBQR army of Mantus moving in, and Mantu would love to throw a lot of pillars into the flank of Fesen's infantry. You'll see there that Sultan is moving his blue Scipio army forward, but it wouldn't surprise me if Fesen decided to pull his Carthaginians back from that position, as he doesn't want pillars thrown in to the flank of his infantry. Over here you'll see that two of the Pontus chariots there has routed one of Spitfyr's chariots, and looks like they're going to try and chase down the other chariot unit there. So well done to Vicox, being very, very aggressive here. And as I say, you can see Vicox here fighting the enemy Brutii infantry and the Seleucid infantry there. You'll see I'm pushing forward here. Okay, once again trying to get in range of those Brutii units in close, tight order there, so I could cause more casualties with my pillars. As I say, you can see Carthage pulling back there because you could see his flank was exposed to the SBQR troops there. So that was a good tactical withdrawal there from Fesen. He doesn't want loads of pillars thrown in on him there. Okay, so it's a good move there, withdrawing there away from Mantu. And you can see that Sultan has moved his blue Scipio army forward there. And as I say, Fesen really wants to engage the Macedonians. He doesn't really want to take on the Romans, he wants to take on the Macedonians. That's why he's brought this army to the battle here. Right, once again, can you see my Julia army there? I'm going to pull him back a little bit there to bring it kind of in line with my Carthage ally. But I've got tactical thinking going on here, and you'll see a little bit later on what I mean by that. You see how Vicox has got his chariots close to the fight in there to lower the morale of the enemy troops. Nice tactical move there by Vicox. So he's not actually engaging with his chariots, look, but he's just close enough to sap the morale from enemy troops as the Pontus pikes press in there. So nice move there by Vicox with his well upgraded Pontus pikes. Okay, can you see me moving my Julia army forward here, okay? What I've decided I'm going to do in this particular battle is I'm going to be very aggressive with my Roman army there. Okay, you'll see what I mean in a minute. I'm going to move forward there. I've got my cavalry there right behind my infantry to back up my infantry if I need it. Okay, but you'll see what I mean. What I want to do with my army is cause as many casualties and as much damage as I can to the enemy troops. You'll see some pillars of mine going into the enemy there, killing a few of those Macedonian companion cavalry as well as enemy infantry there. Okay, and in a minute you're going to see what I would call a bold move by myself. It's either going to be successful or it's going to be a complete nightmare there. Okay, you'll see what I mean in a minute. Right, you can see there I'm throwing pillars into the enemy SBQR troops there, okay, as well. And what I've noticed here is there's a kind of a little bit of a gap between the Seleucids and the Brutii here. It's only a small gap. Let's pause the game for a second here. Now what I'm thinking about doing is, see, there's a little bit of a gap there between the Seleucids and the Brutii. What I'm thinking about doing is moving my infantry into there, into that particular position there, and then surge attack into these Seleucid pikes. Okay, just to give you a heads up on that. So it's going to be risky. Okay, I'll give you a heads up on that. It's going to be extremely risky while I'm planning here, but if it works, it could well pay off well for the team. I've got my cavalry there ready to back up my infantry if I need that. But you'll see what I mean in a minute. It is a risky plan, what I'm thinking here. And as I say, if it works, great. If it doesn't work, then maybe, you know, I may have lost the battle for the team. But you'll see what I mean just in a minute, okay? But as I say, Vicox doing a really great job here on our left flank against the Seleucids and the Brutii there. Okay, now watch my Julii infantry. Right, can you see I'm trying to get into that gap between the Brutii and the Seleucid pikes there? Can you see? Just trying to get in there. Okay, and then I want to surge attack onto what's left of those Seleucid pikes. Now, you pause the game for a second here. Okay, so that's what I want to do. I want to surge attack, and you can see that Vicox is attacking those Seleucids with his pikemen. If I got hit by cavalry, I've got my cavalry right in a tactical position there where I can help my infantry out. Okay, so just watch my Julii infantry here. Okay, I'm throwing pilers in at the moment, but now can you see I'm now going to surge attack into those Seleucid pikes. Okay, see my Julii infantry surge attacking now. Bang! Into those Seleucid pikes. Now watch the Seleucid cataphracts. Okay, I reckon Spitfyr is going to bring those cataphracts in. Now, you might think I'm facing the Seleucid pikes, but I'm not. I'm going to turn a lot of my units to receive that Seleucid cataphract charge, and watch my cavalry as well. Right, let me just pause the game for a second here. So not only am I going to get smashed by Seleucid cataphracts, okay, see them charging. Can you see the Macedonian companion cavalry with their 9 charge bonus? So I'm going to get hit by 2 lots of cavalry. I've got my cavalry locked and loaded there, ready to charge in to try and neutralize that cavalry, those 2 cavalry hits. Okay, but make no mistake, I have turned units to face the incoming cavalry hit. Okay, get ready for this. Seleucid cataphract smashing there, 9 charge bonus, bang. Okay, look at the impact, and then get ready for this, and then the Macedonian cavalry with their 9 charge bonus going to smash into me, and bang! Right, now I'm counter-attacking with my cavalry coming into the flank of those cavalry. Look, and bang! As I smash in there. Oh my gosh, I'm looking to rout all that cavalry. That's what I want to do. I want to get a mass rout going there. Oh my gosh. Right, pause the game for a second here. So, that cavalry attack that I just put in has just routed all the Seleucid and all that Macedonian cavalry. Okay, so that was a really well, if I say so myself, a really nice timed cavalry charge there, smashing into that cavalry and routing them. Plus, can you see most of the Seleucid pikes here has also been routed as well, which I wanted to do. Take the Seleucid out as much as I could. You can see Pontus there, Vicox moving in, but the main thing is I've routed this cavalry. Right, so what I need to do now is chase all those cavalry off the battlefield. If I can chase off all those Seleucid cataphracts and those companion cavalry, that is what I'm going to do. You can see them all routing, but there's a problem. Okay, unfortunately for me, this Brutii infantry here really slows up my cavalry, so I can't get to those routing units fast enough. You see what I mean? Can you see I really charging my cavalry forward there to chase all those enemy cavalry off the battlefield, but that blinking Brutii infantry slow my cavalry down. Can you watch it? See, I can't penetrate fast enough through that Brutii infantry. Do you see? I'm trying to get through it to chase those units down, but it's just slowed me up so much. I can't get my cavalry over there. And if you notice here, the enemy cavalry are starting to rally already. Can you see they're rallying already before my cavalry can get to them? Because, as I say, that Brutii infantry slowed me down so much, I can't chase those cavalry off the battlefield. So now, with that enemy cavalry rallying here, I've got a good chance here of not being able to do what I wanted to do, and as I say, chase those enemy routing troops off the battlefield. And I can see Mantu's cavalry coming over here as well. Right, so can you notice there, I'm surge attacking with my infantry into the Brutii infantry there. Pause the game for a second. So as I say, here you can see we've routed all the Seleucid infantry there. So all the pikes and legionnaires have been routed there. I'm now trying to surge attack onto the Brutii infantry, and I'm just thinking to my teammates, come on guys, run, hit these moving enemy troops here before they can get to me. If you could smash into the rear and flank of them there, that would be a big advantage to us. But as I say, all these enemy cavalry now have rallied, so I'm charging my cavalry and just trying to, hopefully I might be able to trip them into routing again. But then Mantu's SPQR cavalry comes over as well, like, and bang, and now I've lost all my cavalry. All because of that Brutii infantry slowed me down and stopped me chasing all those cavalry off the battlefield. So now I've lost all my cavalry, and my infantry is in a very, I think, exposed position now. Okay, can you see my infantry now? I'm trying to form up as fast as I can here. And what I'm hoping here is my allies are going to run and smash into the back of the enemy troops, okay? That's what I'm hoping for. Pause the game for a second here. So, as I say, There's all the enemy troops attacking there. Can you see Pontus there holding the SPQR troops up? I've got my red Julio troops there. And what I'm hoping here is that my allies are going to smash into the back of those engaged SPQR troops as fast as they can. That's what I was hoping there, before the enemy cavalry can start smashing my infantry. Okay, that's what's worrying me. Right, can you see that SPQR, fresh SPQR cavalry smashing into my infantry? And bang! As it smashes into my infantry. I'm still holding, still managing to hold. Come on, guys, smash into the rear of those enemy troops. Hit them hard. Oh my gosh, here comes the Macedonian companion cavalry with their 9 charge bonus. They're going to smash into me as well. Get ready, see that Macedonian cavalry there? Going to smash into my battle formation and bang! As they smash into me. I'm still holding, my Julia army still holding there against those massive attacks. And all I'm trying to do is hold and damage the enemy as much as I can, allowing my allies to smash into the rear of these engaged enemy troops. Come on, guys, run, smash into the rear of these guys, and we could, we could win here. But see these Seleucid cataphracts here? If they smash into the rear of my engaged, battle-damaged infantry, I got a feeling my entire army will rout. All right, watch that Seleucid cataphract charge. Okay, I think that's going to finish me off if they go in there. That's it, right there. Watch the Seleucid cataphract going in behind me, look. Bang! Smashed in there, killed my general. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Right, okay, so just to give you a heads up on this now, I have lost my entire army. All my cavalry, all my infantry has now been taken out. I just hope I've damaged the enemy enough, to help my allies there. It was a bold, risky move that I did there. Was it worth it? Now I've lost all my army. I'm not sure, but I hope that I have damaged the enemy team enough to help my allies anyway. So, as I say, that was a risky maneuver what I did with my army, and all my army has now been taken out. So, there you are. It's just up to my allies now to try and do the best they can there. And that's it. Unfortunately, all my army dead now. Here you can see Fesen advancing his Carthaginians into the enemy Roman troops there. Very aggressive there with Carthage. But really I would suggest that he saves his Carthaginians to take on the Macedonians there. If you look at the enemy troops here, the Brutii troops here, you can see they're quite damaged, quite battle damaged there. And I think, as I say, all the Seleucid infantry was taken out there, so that's good news for us. Okay, so we're just going to form up over here now. This is a good move for us because I think we're going to rest our troops over here now. And then see, I think we're going to go into phase 2 of the battle now. Okay, as you say, you can see the enemy forming up, and you can see we're forming up. I think everybody's going to try and have a rest now before we move into battle. You can see that Macedonian pike wall moving towards us. But as I say, we're moving into phase 2 of the battle. But unfortunately, all my army has now been completely taken out. I just hope I've done a lot of damage to the enemy. Okay, at this stage of the battle, at the beginning of phase 2 here, as I say, of the battle, you will see that Sultan is moving his blue Scipio army towards 2 enemy armies. Actually, there's elements of 3 enemy armies he's advancing on. He's advanced on SPQR, Brutii and Seleucid there. And what I think he's hoping here, I think what the team's hoping here is that our pike and spear units there are going to attack the Macedonians. Okay, so what Sultan's going to do here is try and occupy the Romans and the Seleucids, what's left of the Seleucids here, allowing his allies to attack the Macedonians. Now, this is a good move here by Sultan, I think. And I remember when I saw him taking on all these enemy troops, I thought that was a really brave move what he's doing here. I think he's got a pretty well intact army there with full pilers, I think, anyway. So he's going to do a lot of damage to the enemy troops before they even get in hand-to-hand fighting. And as I say, the enemy troops that are there, they've already been fighting and will be a little bit battle damaged. But as I say, a really good move here by Sultan taking his troops forward there, occupying, as I say, the Romans there, allowing his Carthage and Pontus allies to maybe take on the Macedonians there. So well done there. Here you can see Fesen there moving his Carthaginians in. Remember, the Carthaginians have got very short spears in comparison to the long pikes of Macedon, but remember that Carthage specifications allow them to punch above their weight when it comes to these big 121 man units. So I'm hoping Fesen is feeling quite confident here, moving his Carthaginians forward into those Macedonian pikes. But as I say, here, Sultan here is going to try and hold up the Brutii and SBQR armies. Plus, I know there's Seleucid cataphracts knocking around there as well. So here you can see Vicox and Fesen here getting around the flank of that Macedonian pike wall. Nice tactical move there by both of them as they attack the Macedonian pikes there. As I say, over here you will see Sultan, as I say, I think being very brave here with his Scipio army attacking these enemy troops. He is outnumbered, but this is a nice tactical move here, moving these units here ready to hit the flank of the enemy troops, backed up by his cavalry. So a nice move there. You can see there's a lot of enemy cavalry there as well. So well done to him here. And being very aggressive as well against the enemy team, not standing back and letting them attack him. He's grabbed the initiative here. Remember, when you attack, you're on the front foot, putting the enemy on the back foot here. Look at that cavalry charge in there, like a bang, smashing the two of the enemy infantry units there. You can see the enemy counter-attacking with their cavalry, bang, and you can see that now Sultan is counter-attacking with his cavalry as well, and bang, and here comes a Seleucid cataphract coming in, and bang, as they smash in there. Oh my gosh, what a massive battle going on the left flank. I think Sultan is absolutely brilliantly controlling the situation here. How he's holding there against all those cavalry and infantry that he's fighting there. So well done to Sultan, holding up the enemy team there, allowing, as I say, Fesen and Vicox here with the Pontus pikes and Carthage spears to try and take out the Macedonian pikes. Good move by Barclayman there, bringing a couple of his Brutii units over. Plus you've got the companion cavalry of Macedon there. Now what I'm thinking that Royer's thinking here is to take his cavalry over to the other flank. Okay, see if you can follow my logic here. Taking his companion cavalry with their 9 charge bonus, okay, over here, and then smashing into the back of Sultan. That's what I think that Royer may well be thinking at this stage of the battle. Okay, but as I say, Sultan holding really well here, and also, as I say, not just holding, but being aggressive and attacking the enemy troops as well. So, as I say, well done to Sultan. I'm just hoping that my army weakened the enemy team enough here to allow Sultan to maybe just go on and win here on the flank, as the enemy team is so weakened. Right, you can see Sultan here bringing his cavalry back, locking and loading them, ready to charge in, looking to get all that cavalry charge bonus there. Look, charging those in there, look, and bang, as he smashed in there. But watch that Macedonian companion cavalry. Can you see? Well, that's bad news. That Sultan's general's just been taken out, so he's lost a general morale bonus there. But there comes that companion cavalry with their 9 charge bonus. Get ready, and bang, as they smash into Sultan's infantry. Now, I was expecting to see a lot of Sultan's infantry rout on impact there. So they held well. You can see a few of his Scipio units starting to rout, but they held well there. And as I say, the companion cavalry came around the flank, smashed into the back there. But as I say, I think the Sultan's held extremely well there against the odds that he was up against. He's still got a lot of his cavalry left there, but his infantry are beginning to crack. But over here you'll see a lot of Macedonian pike units starting to rout here. Fesen and Vicox doing a really good job over there. And as I say, that that companion cavalry charge into the back of Sultan there kind of that caused him a lot of trouble, because I think actually on this flank he looked to me like he was actually winning on that left flank until those companion cavalry smashed into the rear of him there. He's still got his cavalry over there, like, fighting the cataphracts over there, and he's still got some infantry left that he's going to try and hold. Make no mistake, he's weakened the enemy troops a lot. Over here, like, you can see the Seleucid cataphracts there fighting Sultan's cavalry there. And you can see Sultan's infantry still holding there, look. Can you see that? He's still holding there, but if he gets hit by cavalry, plus all the pressure that he's got on him there as well. You see his blue Scipii troops still holding there. You can see that companion cavalry going off after his cavalry, but if, oh my gosh. So finally Sultan's infantry has broken there. But I thought, actually, as I say, to be honest, it looked to me like he was winning on that left flank till he got smashed in the rear by that companion cavalry. So well done to Sultan there. Did well on that left flank. And as I say, held up all those enemy troops there, allowing his allies to take out most of the Macedonian pike units there. Okay, so it looks like most of the Macedonians have been taken out now. Vicox and Fesen have done a really good job there against those Macedonian pikes. And if I'm not mistaken now, I think we're going to go into phase 3 of the battle now. Okay, and this is where both teams are going to form up with the troops that they've got left. Okay, so here you can see Fesen's Carthaginians there, and Vicox is Pontus pikemen there. See that Brutii infantry unit attacking that Pontus pike unit there. But it wouldn't surprise me if Barclayman moved that to Brutii unit away to go and team up with his teammates over there. Or he's going to move away now. Look. You can see probably that Scipii cavalry moving towards him there. So as I say, be prepared now. We're going to go into phase 3 of this incredibly close battle. As you will see, it's one of the closest battles we've been in for a long time. And during the end, see who you think is going to win. Okay, at this stage of the battle, our allies have decided here, Vicox and Fesen there, they're going to box up. Okay, so what they're going to do is form a defensive formation now, here. And you can see all the enemy troops here massing there. But as I say, Vicox and Fesen here are going to form up a defensive box. I was just thinking this unit here is a little bit exposed to a hit there, so I hope Fesen spots it and moves it into the battle formation there. Okay, so there you can see they formed up into, as I say, a defensive box formation here against the enemy troops. Okay, I'd just like to show you here, they decided that the Carthaginians are going to be the hard edge of this defensive box. Can you see the Carthaginians are on the outside of the box there, and as I say, they're going to be the initial hard edge with the general in the middle, and then you've got the Pontus pikemen in the middle with the Carthaginian general. Okay, so just to give you a heads up on that, the Carthage Sacred Band units are going to be the hard edge of this defensive box, keeping the Carthaginian general safe in the center of that box there to give general morale bonus. You've got a couple of cavalry units of Sultan's left there, which I'm pretty sure he'll use in a good way. But that one spear unit of Fesen's there, I hope he spots that one soon and puts it into the battle formation, because that'd be a shame for that unit to get taken out. Let's go up to double speed here as they're just finishing off that box. Can you see they're still micromanaging that defensive box? Oh, there you are. You can see that unit of Fesen's there. He spotted it. Going to move it back into that defensive formation there. Okay, so as I say, they're still micromanaging that defensive box, and it'll be interesting to see if the enemy can break this box. I think you could be surprised at the end of this battle, but I won't say anything else about it. You'll just have to wait and see what happens. It should be a cracking battle. Okay, as we enter stage 3 of this battle, you will see the enemy troops there are starting to engage the defensive box that Fesen and Vicox has set up there. Okay, you can see a lot of pilers being thrown in there. You can see the SBQR, some of the SBQR infantry has still got pilers left that they're throwing in. Here you can see Royer advancing with one of his pike units there to attack one of the Carthage units there. And here you'll see that Mantu's using the old school testudo formation here to try and penetrate the enemy pike and spear units there. Okay, this is something that the Romans do there with their testudo. There very often they can penetrate further into a pike or spear unit in a situation like this than in normal formation there. So you can see there that Testudo unit there trying to push its way into that Carthage unit there. Of course, you've got its Macedonian allies there pushing in as well. Okay, now remember that Macedonian cavalry has got a 9 charge bonus. Remember, the charge bonus is the impact and penetration that a cavalry unit can do. There you can see there our Scipii ally Sultan there. He's got 1 cavalry unit left, and he's trying to be a nuisance with that cavalry unit, smashing into the rear of engaged enemy troops. There you are, he's going to charge in again with that cavalry unit, look, and bang! Trying to be a real nuisance with that cavalry unit. But there you are. Okay, so that's the last of Sultan's army has now been taken out. So all of my army and all of Sultan's army has now been taken out. There, we've been wiped out, and it's just Fesen and Vicox there now, trying to win the battle there. Here you can see the enemy really trying to push into this defensive formation from this one side there, with SPQR troops and Macedonian troops, and of course you've got the Brutii troops there as well, all pushing in on that defensive box there. Okay, now the Carthage general looks a little bit exposed there where he is at the moment. Fesen needs to watch that. But as I say, that companion cavalry, watch that companion cavalry. That could well make the difference in this battle, okay? Remember, 9 charge bonus, which is a massive charge bonus there. And just watch and see how Royer uses that cavalry. And as I say, maybe that Macedonian cavalry could be the make or break of this battle there. But you can see the enemy troops are really concentrating their troops there on that one particular part of the defensive box there, really trying to push in there with those units in Testudo. I think they've come out of Testudo now, I think, and they're fighting there, or they may still be in Testudo there, and the Macedonian pikes there, plus you've got the Brutii infantry there as well. And they are making, make no mistake, they are making inroads into this defensive box. Pause again for a little bit here. Right, can you see here how Mantu is keeping his general out of the fighting, but keeping his general close enough to his troops and his allies' troops to be given the general morale bonus. So all the enemy troops are getting the general morale bonus there from the SPQR general. Okay, nice move there by Mantu. And of course you've got the Brutii general there as well, which I think is still alive. So they're getting 2 general morale boosts there, the enemy team. Whereas I believe we've just got the Carthage general left here, and I can see some of the Carthage units starting to rout now under the pressure that they're under there from that quite aggressive attack there by the enemy troops. If you notice here, can you see how the companion cavalry are being moved around the box there? Okay, you can see they're moving around there, ready to charge in from different angles. There's another Carthage unit routing there. So as I say, the enemy really concentrating their infantry effort on this one particular part of the box. Can you see the inroads that they've made into that box already? There's a Pontus unit just been routed there as they push in. And they are making progress there into this defensive box. And of course, the more units that start routing there in that defensive box, the more that's going to lower the morale of the other units that are still fighting. Another Carthage unit and another Carthage unit has just been routed there. See them both routing. As they run through their allies, they lower the morale of their allies. And I can see another Carthage unit has routed as well. And see this, pause again for a second here. So there, let's see, 1, there's another one there, look, 2 units there, and there's another one on the outside the box, 3 units routing there. You can see that Macedonian cavalry unit looks like it's going to charge in, trying to tip the balance there. Look, bang, as he smashes that cavalry unit in there, trying to get a mass rout going here of our allies' units. Okay, that's what he was trying to do there with that 9 charge bonus. You can see the SPQR cavalry charging in there, like a bang, as they smash in there as well. Not many of them, so the weight didn't carry them in as much as they would like to. But you can see what the enemy are trying to do here. Hits there from different angles, and you can see, look, half that defensive box has now been routed. Can you see that? Do you remember how big the defensive box was? Now you can see a lot of the Carthage and Pontus pikes have now been routed there. Another cavalry hit going in there like a bang as he smashes in there. Oh my gosh, that's the Carthage general has just been taken out. So neither the Pontus or Carthage are getting any general morale bonus at all as the enemy troops are forcing their way into that defensive box there. Okay, and as I say, you still got that companion cavalry with their 9 charge bonus ready to charge in. Here they go. Here goes the cavalry. Get ready. Bang, 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 bang. Shock and awe. Shock and awe here is what they're trying to do. They're trying to get a mass rout going. Do you see how they threw their infantry in as well? Use all their cavalry and their infantry. They're trying the old shock and awe tactic here, trying to get a mass rout going of our Pontus and Carthaginian ally there. Oh my gosh. Just look how they're penetrating there. Oh my god, this is going to be right up in the air, this battle. It could go either way. Here you can see that. I think the SPQR general's just been killed. Here comes a rallied Pontus pike unit in as well. You can see here that Fesen is pulling back his Carthaginians here. Oh my gosh, here. As I say, this battle's going to go right down to the wire. Remember, the enemy are the Macedonians, the purple SPQR, and the green Brutii. Okay, so the purple SPQR, the Macedonians, and the green Brutii are the enemy. Our troops are the Carthaginians and the Pontus pikes. Okay, so here you can see them coming in on different angles there. You can see the Brutii general trying to get in behind them there. And this is a nice move here by Fesen, moving a couple of Carthage units there to move in on the flank of the enemy troops. Nice move there. And you can see the Pontus pikes moving forward as well at the same time. Nice move there by Fesen and Vicox there. You can see the enemy SPQR infantry starting to rout. There comes a cavalry unit and bang! Straight into the rear there. They were all killed. Right, so here you can see them all charging in there. Oh my gosh. So there you can see all the Brutii cavalry there, infantry, sorry, charging in there. And there you can see the Brutii general is still there as well. And the Macedonian pikes pushing in at the same time there. Oh my gosh. As I say, this battle's going to go right down to the wire there. And just a couple of Brutii units left there. Well done to Fesen and Vicox there. Really well done. Just 2 Brutii units, and they've just routed the Brutii general there. And just, oh my gosh, we've just managed to go on to win the battle there. So well done to Vicox and Fesen there. Both did really well. And you could see that's one of the closest battles I have been in for a long time. And what a spread out battlefield it was. If we look all the way over here, you can see there that particular part of the battlefield there. I think that's where Vicox was fighting the Seleucids all the way along here. There. And that, I think, round about this area here is where I attacked with my cavalry and infantry there and lost my entire army. As I say, I hope I damaged the enemy team quite a lot with sacrificing my army, but I'm not quite sure there. We just have to wait and see what the kills were like. Here you can see masses of dead there. I think that's where Sultan was attacking those enemy troops there. Did really well. Almost won on that flank if he wasn't smashed into the rear by that companion cavalry. Over here you can see more cavalry fighting. There you can see that. Oh my gosh, masses and masses of dead here. As I say, it's quite a spread out battlefield here, and at the end of the battle you'll see that Fesen's got 1, 2, 3, 4, got 5 units left there. So out of his entire army, just 5 units left, and you can see that Vicox has just got 3 very battle damaged units left as well there. So it just goes to show how close this battle was, and I'm sure you would agree it could have gone either way there, right the way through the battle there. Okay, so the first thing I'd like to say is really well played to everybody in the game. It's a really good battle, really well played, guys. And it's a close victory. And as I say, we don't get many close victories these days. So when we do get a close victory, I really like to show that type of battle. And highest kills in the game goes to myself, Spartan Commander. So that sacrifice that I made with my army, I got the highest kills. So I did damage them as much as I wanted to there. So I'm quite pleased with that. Yeah, I lost all my army, but I did, I did do quite well with kills there. So I'm pleased with that. Well done to Royer. Got some great kills there with his Macedonians. Really well done to him. Really good kills there. Well done to Spitfyr. Got some great kills with his Seleucids there. Look. Really good kills with them. So well done to Spitfyr. Well done to Mantu. Got some good kills as well. And well done to Barclayman, got some good kills. So really well done. Just look at those massive kills that the enemy team has got. Just goes to show how close this battle was. And then we got Fesen there. Really great kills with his Carthaginians. Look at that. Really good kills. Well done to Vicox. Great kills there with his Pontus troops there. Really well done. And well done to Sultan as well. Really well done with his army as well. Some great kills there as well. What about faction advantage? Here we had Rome, Carthage, Pontus and Rome. Quite a strong combination, I would say. And the enemy team had Macedon, Seleucid, Rome and Rome. And I think that's quite a strong combination. So I don't think there's much of faction advantage there. And just to say, please leave a comment about this battle. Your thoughts in the comments. It's really nice to read what you think about our battles, and if you see anything that you would have done differently or anything like that, please put it in the comments, because it's always interesting to read what you think about our battles. As I say, we play every Friday, Saturday and Sunday nights. If you'd like to join us, it would be good to see you. We still have great battles, even though it is an old game. Okay, Spartan Commander saying bye for now. See you soon.